Alright, let's do it.
Oh, Zack Snyder. Alright. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Welcome back to the MOVIEVERSE podcast. My name is the Habitual Pixel. This is my co-host, Big Nasty Productions. And if you're new around here, what we do is we review films in a long podcast spoiler-tastic manner. I'm going to throw the spoiler warning up right now, because we are going to tear this movie to a new butthole, for lack of a better term. Oh, there it is. Giant. Alright, so we're doing Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Is that what it's called? Dawn of Justice?
Batman v Superman.
V, not versus V.
Because that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Batman 5 Superman? Is it Batman 5 Superman, maybe?
Superman 5, The Voyage Home. Alright, I don't even know where to fucking... Alright. So, this is the movie, everyone. It's been in question for a long time whether this is going to be good. Whether it's going to live up to the hype, whether Ben Affleck is going to be a good Batman. All kinds of questions were up in the air. And because it's called Dawn of Justice, they're setting up, this, the DCU, right? If the Marvel Universe is the MCU, they're trying to set up the DCU. The
DC Extended Universe, I think they call it, the DCEU.
Yeah, and they're trying to do all that in this one movie, by the way, this 2.5 hour clusterfuck. There's some good here. It's definitely okay. It's watchable. But boy, did some of the shit not hit the mark here. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Where do you want to start? You want to throw a synopsis our way of Batman vs. Superman?
Okay, I guess. I mean, it really starts... They do a good job of trying to at least somewhat follow continuity and keeping it with Man of Steel, which the one thing I don't understand about is they're saying that it's not a sequel to Man of Steel, but that
it starts starts at the end of Man of Steel, really.
So they do a decent enough job of having it relate to that, where Ben Affleck comes into it as Bruce Wayne. I don't feel like it was necessary at all to have the goddamn origin story at the beginning, because this is already too long of a movie, and that just wasted time. So,
and it was all in slow motion. So.
And we had to drink within 5 seconds because of the fact that, Zack Snyder threw a fucking slow motion bullet casing dropping in there.
Mm-hmm. I counted 2 more, by the way.
Called bets on that we'd be seeing a lot of those in there. But anyways,
just slow motion shell drops.
But anyways, so Bruce Wayne is going into Metropolis as Zod and Superman are continuing their battle and destroying everything in Metropolis, needlessly killing thousands of people without any, thought or recognition to the loss of human life. And he runs into a pile of rubble that was his old building of some sort of Wayne Enterprises building that was in Metropolis. Yeah. And a bunch of his people that are close to him die or whatever. He saves some little girl and some dude that loses his legs. And
is pissed.
Looks up super pissed because of the fact that they're clearly just doing this with reckless abandon. Anyways, that leads into Superman essentially finding out that there's this vigilante, Clark Kent finding out that there's this vigilante in Gotham who has been attacking and beating up and doing shit to criminals and then branding certain criminals, which turns out that it could be a death sentence in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So he decides that the Batman shouldn't be allowed to operate, which is probably one of the most hypocritical fucking fascist things I've ever seen, because only he knows what's right. And anyways, they do make tons of references. I know I'm dropping off of the story because there really isn't much of one.
No,
the storyline is horrible, to be honest, and the writing
one of the worst things about
very poor.
One of the worst things about this film is the pacing and the writing.
Yeah,
150%.
Eventually, they get introduced by Lex Luthor, who apparently knows who they are the entire time.
How does Clark Kent not know about Batman? Man, it's been 20 years that he's been operating, and he doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is. I don't know. Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, this thing has more fucking holes than an Afghan, but I don't mean an Afghanistan person. I'm just to clear that up. I mean a blanket.
Oh, that's funny.
I just realized I could be taken out of context.
I can see how you
times.
misinterpreted that, sir, but no, that's not what I was referring to.
I mean, like the Eminem line. But anyways, where was I? So Lex apparently knows who they are the entire time. He reveals at the end, and like we said, spoilers, so fuck off. But he somehow knows who they are. So he comes up with this elaborate plan to make them start hating each other by somewhat slipping these weird clues to Bruce Wayne that the Joker is alive or something, or someone is coming after him because he let his family die. Very Joker-esque sort of little clues.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, they actually don't come into play at all, and they mean nothing. But that's what his plan is, I guess. So that he'll start getting all paranoid and want to fight Superman, and then he has Superman go after Batman by kidnapping his fucking mom and throwing Lois Lane off of the roof as a distraction, I guess, even though the mom was already kidnapped. But either way, by kidnapping his mom and threatening to kill her. That's the plot of the movie, yeah.
Yep.
That then leads to Batman and Superman being forced into a fight. Well, I guess Superman's more forced into it. Batman doesn't exactly listen, just starts fighting him right away because he's got little traps set up. Which, hey, that makes sense. That's perfect Batman right there. That makes perfect sense. But then they start their fight or whatever, and Batman kicks the high holy shit out of him because of the fact that he's using these cool little bullet things. Like there's a lot good to this that they really fail to capitalize. A lot of details, yeah. They really fail to capitalize on the things that are good with this. I'm just going to say that right fucking now.
That's a perfect way of saying it, yeah.
He shoots him with these cool little things that mist in his face, so he gets his fucking kryptonite jizz all over him. And then after that, he weakens him a bit and starts beating the shit out of him.
Puny human.
And as he pulls out his kryptonite spear of justice, he goes to finish Superman off, when he finds out that Superman's mother's also named Martha. So
that's that's never come up in the comics, because who the fuck cares?
So he decides to just say, hey, you know what? I really shouldn't be attacking this guy. I think we should be working together, because who knows? There might be some sort of threat out there.
Super pals. Did we just become best friends? Yep.
And I don't mean that as like a fucking joke or trying to minimize anything. They literally stopped fighting because of the fact that their mom's names are Martha.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Fucking lie.
There's really no other reason.
No matter how many times you fucking watch it, that's the reason. He literally goes to finish him off. Clark Kent keeps saying something about saving Martha. He says, "Why are you saying that name?" And Lois Lane says, "It's his mother."
It's his mom.
He goes, throws the fucking spear. Wait a minute.
Your mom's name is Martha? My dead mom's name is Martha. Holy shit.
I have serious ideological differences with how you approach things and worries and concerns about what you could do with your powers unchecked. I don't like the way that you operate, and I think that you're harmful to society. Your mom's name is Martha? Shit, mine too. Fuck, let's drop this beef. Like, what the fuck, man? I don't think there's been lazier writing.
Oh, man, I don't understand some of the writing choices in this movie. And
that's the story. Sorry, and then and then I had to. That really pisses me off. I had to go off on a tangent there.
But wait, there's more.
but wait, there's more. There's more. Much more.
Much more.
Anyways, fucking. So after that, they become super pals, and then somehow, or Zod's Doomsday that Lex creates is unleashed because Lex is all pissed off that his plan didn't, come to fruition.
So he steals Zod's body and makes Doomsday with it.
His weird plan that apparently just involved Batman and Superman fighting each other for some fucking reason. And
no reason.
Anyways, he lets Doomsday fight him. And Doomsday obviously fights all three of them. Does pretty good for a while with some of the cheesiest cartoonish CGI effects I've seen in a long time. Especially for the atmospheric computer graphics. Like the ones that were the area where they're fighting and like some of the dust clouds and stuff. They just looked absolutely horrible. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's indefensible. They looked bad.
Once the city got fucked up a little bit, it started looking worse and worse.
So then they have their big throwdown, which is essentially just some action figures smashing together, similar to Transformers, but actually way less impressive in the CGI realm. And then
similar to the end of Man of Steel.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then
but it's okay.
After
Everyone's
that,
off work.
yeah, they make sure to mention that. And after that, they all, Superman gets killed because why not? When he's killing Doomsday, Doomsday kills him as well.
Oh yeah, there's that spoiler we talked about. They
Yeah.
kill Superman.
Yeah, Superman's dead. I mean, the second you knew Doomsday was in, you had to assume there might be a possibility of him dying.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so they kill Superman, and then they have his funeral, and Batman decides that they're gonna need to form the Avengers. I mean, the Justice League, and
no, you mean the Avengers.
and even that, in a nutshell, is another way in which they just completely misunderstand a character. Considering Batman's the one who tried to stay away from the Justice League when it was first initialized, in the best run of the stories, in my opinion. But
now it's him playing supposedly playing the Nick Fury character.
Yeah,
who is also Batman.
I don't know. It's just, I guess if you just like the characters simply from the look of them, there's something to be taken away from it. But if you like them for, character traits and a lot of the depth in their personalities, there's nothing here. There's nothing here for you.
There's nothing. This is a real bummer in a lot of ways. I like Batman. I like a lot of things, the choices made with his character. I guess I should just talk about my biggest problem, and that's Lex Luthor when it comes to characters. He sucked. He sucked ass. This is a really bad way of doing Lex Luthor.
It was.
I'm not even hating on Eisenberg. It's just the way he's written, and he's written like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura. Like, it's just not mixed with the Joker. It's just not Lex Luthor, right? I don't think so. And there's
it didn't
also
strike as him for me. It didn't resonate well.
There's also no setup to his motive of why he's trying to do this.
Zero.
Zero. Like, maybe his dad died in Metropolis. Nothing. Not even a try. Like, he's just pissed for some reason.
He just doesn't like the fact that Superman exists.
Yeah, he just doesn't like that he's super... I guess, this is me interpreting this, by the way. It's not even said. Lex is super smart, but there's now a god in this world, and I guess that's just, fuck that guy. Going after him.
I can get behind that part a little bit, because, I mean, realistically, there are certain aspects to that. I mean, with Lex's kind of
megalomaniac.
And like the psychology makeup of the character. But I don't think Jesse Eisenberg really did approach it very well. I don't know if it was him or who knows. I mean, it
could have been him.
It could have been his choice to go in that direction, or that style of Lexer. It could have been Zack Snyder's. I have no idea. It could have been Goyer and whoever else wrote the movie. No idea. But
that speech at his party...
It was unfortunate. It was not very good.
That speech at his party where he just, forgets what he's saying and mumbles and trails off. I thought I was watching outtakes for a second. And
when he seems like a psychopath?
Yeah, it's just so weird. Yeah, they made him crazy. That's how to best sum it up. Is instead of being a cold, manipulating businessman like he kind of should be, he's much more of just a silly psycho idiot.
That's actually a really good way of putting it, because exactly, he's supposed to be like the strong savant type of sophisticated businessman in the comic books, really, for the most part. There is a bit of a psychosis to him, and not even a bit. There's a full-on psychosis to him, but I mean, the way they do it in this, he's more like the fucking Joker than Lex Luthor.
Yeah, and there's references to the Joker, a better movie we'll probably never see somewhere out there. So it seems in this universe they've already had their clown,
and just some of his mannerisms and shit. It's just...
Yeah, his mannerisms are weird, man. He's just all fidgety, and I don't like it. And since he really is the main reason these guys are fighting, it just feels lackluster to me. A bit of a letdown, yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, performance-wise, there was a lot of stale potatoes in this.
Yes, speaking of potato.
But at the same time, there were some good ones. I mean, if we're going to keep going on the stale potatoes, though, Henry Cavill, or Cavill, I don't know how you say his name, because to me he's not really that relevant.
Pick any potato you'd like.
He is a potato. He has the acting caliber of a potato.
Yeah, this was one of my biggest issues with Man of Steel, too. Like, Henry Cavill is just... He's so fucking cardboard, man. Like, it's unbelievable. And I know that's kind of what the character is, but it's...
He's not even like an Idaho potato.
But it's worse
than...
than...
potato.
Nah, he's a shitty potato.
You're a dirt potato from my backyard, Henry Cavill.
Farty dirt potato. He looks like Superman. Obviously, you can't you can't really
exactly
argue that.
Right.
He's
like
built,
I said,
he's built to fuck, but he's like, I mean, he's a really handsome potato, but he's still a fucking potato, man. Like he doesn't embody anything I think of when I think of Superman, or
non-characteristics, but they do, and that is one thing I got to give them credit for. They do address that as well. A lot of people are saying that he doesn't fall into a lot of the ideals, or some of the way, like with killing Zod right away and all that stuff. They do address that when he's talking about going after Batman to I can't remember his boss's name right now; it's escaping me. But when he's talking to him, he says, "What does he say?" He goes, "Oh yeah, and that'd be all well and fine if it was 1938." that to me, I'm pretty sure I picked that piece out of my head as a reference to the fact that they're saying like this isn't that Superman, like this is a Superman of the modern world type thing, which I could get behind that.
I could too.
But if he wasn't a fucking retard then, because that means that if you're saying he's an updated version of Superman, he's still dumb as a fucking post.
He is, man. He's really weak on screen, especially as Clark Kent.
And I don't mean Henry as an actor, because I don't know him, but everything I've never seen something I've been impressed by. Never. He's been awful.
And this is his most unimpressive work yet. He's so fucking stale in this role, and it's weird to see Ben Affleck come in as Bruce Wayne and just act him into the ground every scene they're together, especially that party scene where they're just back and forth. Like, Ben Affleck, man, he's like, Henry, please, no, I'm doing you a favor being in your fucking movie, all right? Settle down. And he kind of is doing him a favor being in this movie, but
he does elevate it a bit, but I say slightly is the best way to put that, because it's only slightly.
I like this Batman. I'm kind of not everything. I don't like everything about it, but a lot of the details and stuff are really well done. I like the new Alfred, played by who's it, Jeremy Irons. Yeah, I thought that was well done. I like how he's more of a Q than just a.
I like Jeremy Irons as Alfred better than Michael Caine. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it right now.
Michael Caine was kind of just a sassy butler who was in on the fucking thing.
He's just a sassy Michael Caine.
Yes, but Jeremy is more like a he takes the helm of the Batwing and stuff when he's on missions. It's pretty cool. Unfortunately, every time there's not Batman stuff going on, the rating just plummets again. I don't know. I've really enjoyed the scene where Batman came through the floor and took out a room full of guys, Arkham Asylum style. That was sweet. I would have paid $20 more for an entire movie of that. But unfortunately, there's only bits and pieces of a really good superhero film in here, and they don't fit together. You know what I'm saying?
Somewhere there's an Earth 2 where ideally Ben Affleck isn't playing Bruce Wayne, and Henry Cavill has never played Superman, but Ben Affleck is actually being cast in a movie from the Flashpoint paradox where they're going to focus on Thomas Wayne's Batman, and Ben Affleck is going to be that Batman and will be the best Thomas Wayne the world has ever seen. Yeah, that's the movie I want to see.
I can get behind that for sure. This movie will kind of just make you want another Batman movie. I don't know. I have nothing against Superman. I've never been a huge fan, but it's just,
I feel like Zack Snyder would have been better if he was making Ultraman.
Mm-hmm.
Because then he can just make him like a badass and like make him just like a total fucking dictator all he wants to, like a totalitarian type guy.
Yeah, because this Batman's he's a bit of a hard ass, right? He's 20 years deep. He's already broken his rule.
Oh no, sorry, I mean for Superman, because Ultraman is the mirror version of Superman, essentially.
Oh yeah,
The one for Batman's like Owl something. I think he's Owlman. I don't know. He's an owl.
I guess that makes sense. Opposite of a bat is an owl, right? Sure.
Opposite of Super is Ultra.
I guess. I hope so. Super Ultraman.
Then there's also Bizarro, of course. But we got off topic. I don't remember what we were talking about. I'm sorry. I'm
talking about how fucking jam-packed this movie is with just nonsense. Another big issue I have is this just... Oh, they're trying so hard to set up a universe with this one movie, and they're not doing it subtly whatsoever.
No subtlety.
And that was what I thought was the most, the specialist thing about the Marvel Universe is that they set it up so slowly that they built these blocks. At the end of Iron Man, you're like, damn, that was a really good movie about a man in an iron suit. That's cool. And then they're like, oh, this whole other world is out there.
DC approaches putting all of their characters into one film with the subtlety of date rape in a John Hughes film.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's the best way I could possibly put it. Like, it is just nuts. It's fucking flat out blunt, in your face, and offensive.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty much how bad it is.
It is offensive. They shove so much stuff in here. And I didn't even mind all the Wonder Woman stuff because...
They shove so much stuff in here.
That's what she said.
There you go. For the date rape. For the date rape. Come on. I had to bring it full circle there. There we go.
Oh, man. Yeah, this movie is not subtle, we'll say. It just kind of goes for it.
It really does.
It's all ejaculation and no foreplay, as I've heard it called, and I think that's a great way of summing it up. And if anyone out there knows, all fucking and no foreplay is no fun. You got to set up something if you want to build this big DC universe, which I'd love to see, I think they're going to try and set up Injustice at some point, right? It looks like they are anyway. I'd love to see that go well for them. It's just they're trying too quickly.
Well, and I want to stress the point that it's not like I want DC films to fail. It's just that they do.
I don't know.
And it's not even like the Christopher Nolan trilogy was great. I mean, sorry, 2 of them were great. 1 was okay. Other than that, they seem to just have miscues and miscues and miscues.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Man of Steel was a miscue, but it made some money. So they said, hey, fuck it. Let's see if we can just ride this out. We'll get someone like Ben Affleck, who does a fine enough job as Batman. I mean, he's not better than Christian Bale, but he doesn't. No. It's a different Batman. It's not the same character, so it's different. But it just doesn't. It's not. It's like fucking beating a dead horse. I mean, Superman movies, in my honest opinion, will not work nowadays. I just feel like it just doesn't work. There's just something about the character where you're either going to do it right to the ideologies and stuff, and it's just going to come off as cheesy and lame, or you're going to do it where it's trying to be different and nobody's going to like it because it's just going to suck because the guy can just do whatever the fuck he wants. Kryptonite doesn't seem to stop him ever, which is ridiculous.
I was going to say, the rules fluctuate greatly on what Kryptonite does exactly to Superman in this movie.
I've never been the biggest fan. Admittedly, I've never been the biggest fan of Superman because of that sort of thing. I've always found that to be absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's 5 feet away now. I'm fucking good to go.
Oh, man, there's literally a scene where Superman's got the spear made of kryptonite and he's all tired and weak because of it, and Lois picks it up and like just throws it over there, and then he's like, oh, I'm good, thanks Lois.
Even better is how fucking quickly it drops him in the first place, but then he's perfectly content with picking it up and like stabbing fucking Doomsday with it.
Doomsday, yeah. And how he can
he seems to be perfectly okay with holding it while flying, so not only is he fine holding it, his powers are still working as well.
Exactly, right.
This movie is literally full of holes.
The sun was bright that night.
Yeah,
Superman.
Zack Snyder movie. The sun was super bright.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more color than Man of Steel, I would say, but he still uses that washed out look for everything and the CGI. There are moments of really, really good CGI, like all Snyder films, but then there's so many moments where it's just cheese whiz on the lens, and I'm sorry. Anytime Superman moves, like, I don't know. Like, the way he shoots it doesn't really work.
If Zack Snyder was going to do a Superman movie, it should have fucking been Red Sun. That is the only thing suited to his artistic talents.
Red Sun. Oh, yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Other than that, I could see them giving him the reins of Batman because it to me it makes sense. It won't be as good as the Nolan ones, but in my opinion, it'll still be better than fucking Schumacher, and realistically, with time, better than fucking Tim Burton.
Yeah.
So
I'd be down for...
I have no problem with that. That would have been perfectly fine. He seems to understand at least some of the tone with Batman, where he just seems to be completely inept to anything that is relative to Superman. He just doesn't seem to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And even with Batman, there's definitely, or in the relationship between them, there is definitely a misunderstanding somewhere between him or the writers. I'll give them kudos that they're trying to stick to comic books and comic book references as far as source material by using direct lines.
They do try to please people.
And I'm sorry that I have to again go off on a tangent on this one, but because I said to you right after the movie, one thing that irked the fuck out of me was how badly they misrepresented and misused the line when Bruce Wayne delivers saying, "We've always been criminals," in The Dark Knight Returns. In The Dark Knight Returns, the setup is that Clark Kent has been asked to basically settle Bruce down because the president can't have him running around acting like a fucking renegade.
Yeah.
So Bruce and Clark meet and discussing whatever, and Clark basically tries to just fucking tell him what to do because that's how Clark is. And
not a subtle man.
No, exactly. And then so because of that, Bruce, in a way of kind of just erasing the discrepancy that he's somehow better than him or any different than him, says, because he tells Bruce, "No, you're acting like a criminal," he says, "We've always been criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us." And fucking in the movie, instead of having that be a conversation between Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne that raises a more philosophical question between the two of them, and especially with their different ideologies, he just has Bruce Wayne say it to Alfred. So essentially, instead of having it be a question of anything or a conversation, he just has him state that he's a criminal. What the fuck purpose does that serve? Mm-hmm. How does that enhance the story? How does that enhance your characters? There's no character development. There's no depth whatsoever. It really pisses me off because there's so much to work with, and he just fucking didn't bother.
Mm-hmm. There is so much to work with. DC is not new to the game, right?
I'm getting fucking heated.
Yeah. And that's the problem. We're obviously fans of comic book movies and comic books and these characters, and we want to, like you said, we don't want to see this movie fail. Like everyone seems to hop on the bandwagon that this is
there's one side or the other.
Yeah. I hear when I see reviews online so far, it's either this movie's a piece of shit or this movie's not that bad. I'm like, that's, not that bad and a piece of shit. That's a turd sandwich and a giant douche right there. Like, it's, it's still not a great movie, right? Like, it's...
It really isn't.
I don't know. It's not very good. I don't know. There is good in here, little bits and pieces and things, but...
It just bugs me, because I feel like there's a giant misrepresentation of the characters, and especially when there's clearly a misunderstanding
certainly there is.
Of the source material as well, because to me that is an obvious misunderstanding of the source material, having him...
Of Dark Knight Returns, yeah.
Yeah, of having him say that to Alfred. If you're going to do it, don't have him say it at all. Completely get that out, because what you just did is completely irrelevant to anything, and kind of just insults your own character.
Insults your hardcore audience, too, when you think about it.
Well, because, you just basically put him on the bad side of things. Because you're not saying both of you are. You're saying just he is. He's the only one that admitted that.
We've always been criminals. No! Don't drag me into this shit.
That should have been Alfred's response. But you've always been a criminal. I don't know what you're talking about. In a British accent. I'm not going to try and do that.
Yes. Well, I'm sure Alfred has a contingency plan if Bruce winds up dead. He's just going to burn all the Batcave and all the files and move to France or something.
Need a little calm me down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unfortunate. There is good moments. We haven't talked about Wonder Woman, I guess. She was one of the things I actually enjoyed more than others, we'll say.
I would agree.
I thought she's cast well. This girl, whose name I cannot... What is this woman's name again? Where is it?
I don't know if it's Gadot or Gatto or just Gadot. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I'm just going to call her Gal. Or...
Gal Gadot.
Gadot, but yeah. I'm just gonna call her Gal. This gal.
We'll call her Gal. This gal. It's funny. I'm like, what's this girl's name? Her name's Gal. Her name's Gal. Sorry, girl. Gal. Oh, anyways. I think she's cast well. I mean, she could be a little bit more Amazon looking, but... And I mean that in the most respectful way. I think she's, a smoke show, and her attitude kind of plays off Bruce Wayne's Playboy attitude a little bit.
Yeah, there's a very Selena Kyle Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
There
you go. She did have a Selena Kyle vibe when she was, not in costume. And of course they, like we said, they shoehorn in the references to Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg. Thank you. Is there any other ones? I think those are the main three, as well as, of course, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and then Wonder Woman. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it was the picture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's even little teases of them in this movie, which would have been fine, but literally the next movie they're doing is Justice League, right? Like, what kind of setup is that? I don't know.
And just so you know, the Aquaman one is
really
awkwardly
weird.
long.
Yeah. It's really weird. I don't get it.
He just stares at the camera for a minute before. Ah.
Yeah, for a little bit too long. It was weird.
I'm not excited about that at all. Jason Momoa is the biggest potato of all. He's a sweet potato.
Yeah, he's more like he's a
really
squash. Really,
he's
I was gonna say a really big,
turnip.
really big potato, a pumpkin, something.
Anybody that wants to defend that from fucking seeing him in Game of Thrones, please watch a movie that he's in. He's one of the worst actors you will ever see in your life.
Game of Thrones doesn't count. He was cast because he looks like a barbarian.
And I didn't watch it, so I can't judge his character on that. But I've never seen him in anything like that's been good. He's in a bunch of terrible B movies, and he's always brutal in them.
Mm-hmm.
Debug is probably the main one I should suggest watching.
Oh no! Don't watch that.
I don't mean because it's good. I just mean to see how bad he is.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a real problem with casting in this.
DC has a problem with casting.
Yeah,
Ben
DC
Affleck is the only
problem.
good choice. Well, and Gal, last name was standing.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Gal Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman and Batman were very good casting.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Very well
and I'm pretty sure Flash and Cyborg are newcomers. I didn't recognize them.
Flash, I think, is the guy from the TV show, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I guess that would make sense, right? I always forget there's a fucking Flash show.
I don't watch the show, so I don't really know.
I don't watch it either.
But
yeah, and Cyborg looks to be a newcomer. I didn't recognize him anyway.
Cyborg, I'm excited for. I think that's going to be an interesting character. It's kind of like Marvel right now, right? Some of their characters that are a little bit more obscure that they're bringing out, a little bit more obscure to mainstream audiences that they're bringing out are actually resulting in some of their
bigger successes,
better stories, and their bigger successes, right? So that could be the case with this as well. I mean, who knows? Maybe Jason Momoa will surprise the shit out of me, and Aquaman will be amazing. He could be perfect for the role. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Right?
I really think Superman's the weakest part of this DC universe they want to...
I am excited for Cyborg, though. That'll be a cool story.
So they killed him. I guess that was their solution.
Bullshit.
Obviously, he's going to come back. And if they're setting up this Injustice storyline, which, there's signs pointing towards they are, then we'll definitely see Soups again.
Yeah, that's the only thing that they could have the dream sequences for. Otherwise, they're completely irrelevant to the plot.
I was going to say, there is some dream sequences that if you're not up on your superhero lore a little bit, you will be scratching your head big time. Like, I thought the way that those were slotted in, we're like, what the fuck is happening right now?
To me, it doesn't make sense that they would do an Injustice storyline, though, because, again, Injustice's storyline is a slight skew from DC's versions of like Batman, Superman storylines, for instance.
Yeah, it is different. But I don't
if
know,
anything, I would assume they were doing the Batman, Superman comics that they've had since the New 52.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what they really got planned, and I don't know, how it's gonna go from here on out. I guess they're already invested, so this is happening. People, get behind it.
If the Injustice storyline happens, that could be cool because I mean
that's what I mean. Yeah, it's an interesting storyline.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that's I don't know if you've read all the comics that they have of it, but they're
not all of them, no.
Yeah, they're at year 5, I think now, and Gods Among Us, and it's pretty good. But that would be interesting.
It could be.
Zack Snyder is not the man to direct it, though, unfortunately.
Nope. And Zack Snyder is already on board for Justice League Part 1 and 2.
I don't know why I said unfortunately. I mean, I don't care. He really shouldn't be doing it. It's not unfortunate at all that I said that. I don't know why I said that.
It is unfortunate that people keep giving Zack Snyder quarters of billions of dollars to make these silly little films when he really should just be making video game movies, right? Get the Gears of War movie, huh? Perfect for this guy. Superheroes, not so much. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's all meatheads and explosions, and if that's what he wants to do here, then just take Gears of War or something. Stay away from Batman and Superman.
Yeah, I do feel like there's going to have to be some sort of revision as far as Justice League's concerned.
I think so too. They're going to have to sharpen up a few things.
If there isn't, after like the critic response that it got, and I'll admit that some of it's a little bit on the uneven side, but at the same time, a lot of it is warranted.
There's some real problems with this movie, man. There are some legit problems.
And if they don't revise them, I mean, then honestly, all they're saying is we don't give a fuck what people think. We just want their money, and that doesn't bode well for superhero films. It doesn't seem to do well. I mean, Transformers, it worked for the first two, and it seemed to have done decently enough. Or sorry, the first three, and it seemed to have done decently enough for the Mark Wahlberg one.
Then they're gonna make another one.
Exactly, enough to warrant another one. But I mean, those things
they've made billions.
Shortly.
Yeah.
But in superhero movies, the ones that have tried to do that seem to kind of go the way of the dodo bird pretty quickly. The franchises that try and do that.
Yeah, Fantastic Four twice. Twice, people. That's happened.
Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah. A couple things. People could argue Ghost Rider, even though they made fucking 3 of them or whatever.
Two of them.
2 of them. Yeah. We've seen franchises die real goddamn quickly, and they have a lot invested in this, and I want to see it work out.
Because they were like, what? This wasn't good? Yeah, fuck it.
I think the whole Doomsday killing Superman thing could have been, like, the whole third act could have been saved for the end of Justice League. Man, like, seriously.
I guess I should have said Amazing Spider-Man, not Spider-Man, because, I mean, the first 2 were good. The third one just sucked.
Yeah, I was thinking more of the Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, you're right, because the first one sucked, and then they were like, fuck it, we'll just do that same type of shit. We'll actually just make it even worse.
No, I was going to say Amazing Spider-Man 2 is much worse. That movie is garbage. That movie is dog shit. Worse than this movie, that's for sure.
Now, here's where I want to... It is definitely worse than this movie, but by how much would you say?
Oh, that's a rough one. I don't know. I guess we can probably move towards a rating this movie if you want to go that route. The
only reason I asked is because, I mean, personally, for me, like, Amazing Spider-Man 2 was just god-awful, and I couldn't stop laughing. With this, there is a bit of it that you can at least enjoy. I mean, there is some of it that seems to connect in single scenes, but nothing seems to ever extend past that. Like, there's tons of different points that are brought up in one scene and completely forgotten about 2 scenes later.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it does boil
Pacing
down to
issues,
absolutely horribly lazy writing and pacing issues, bad editing.
It's like this happens, and then blah blah blah, and then.
And not in the action scenes. The action scenes have some good editing, but
there is some okay action scenes. And Zack Snyder is very confident with special effects. Some stuff here is good, but some stuff just doesn't pass the uncanny test.
No.
Right? Especially Doomsday. Doomsday was really weak CGI.
Some stuff looks like they ran out of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
or they realized something was really bad and just like had to fix it in post desperately.
Yeah, and it kind of seems like editing-wise, there's some stuff certainly got shuffled around before.
That's what I mean. The editing is very confusing.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's a director's cut to be found here.
They said that there would be an R-rated version and something.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But I don't know. Again, that's
an R-rated
if that's the film you're making, then make that film.
Mm-hmm. Zack Snyder's Blu-rays are always better than his actual releases. Funny thing.
That is true. I'll give you that.
The Watchmen director's cut is better. Sin City's director's cut is a little bit better.
Not Sin City.
You don't like the director's cut of Sin City?
He didn't do Sin City.
I always say that. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I've had a few drinks. Yeah, I don't know. There is good in Zack Snyder, but it just doesn't. He clearly wanted to do a Batman movie, and he just kind of hopped on any attempt to do that, and that happened to be the back of a dying Superman. So hey,
first you gotta do a Superman movie.
First you have to kill Superman. You have to literally birth and then kill Superman.
Well, no, I feel like they said first you have to do a Superman movie. He was like, okay. It was terrible. And they said, okay, now you gotta kill Superman.
Okay. Can I do Batman? Yeah, well, we're gonna let Ben Affleck do Batman. Yeah, but can I direct it? Maybe. How about Justice League?
They should let Ben Affleck direct the Batman movie because I feel like he'll have a better grasp on it. Or at least, and they'll let Kevin Smith in to write, or at least
someone who knows the material, yeah. Because I think there is a great Batman.
Someone who knows film and knows comics. Because unless somebody didn't wake the fuck up and seems to not be paying attention, that's what made Avengers great. Joss Whedon is what made the first Avengers fucking great.
Because he knows both so well. So well. And that's how you have to make these movies, you know. You have to
the deterioration of Joss Whedon's mind is what made Avengers: Age of Ultron not that great.
I still think Ultron is a pretty decent movie.
It's fucking miles ahead of this.
Oh yeah, and I think it's just the fanboy backlash that broke Whedon's mind and caused him to disappear. Dave Chappelle style. Hopefully he comes back and directs something someday. Jesus. But hey, out of that we get the Russo brothers that are doing the next Avengers.
Soldier.
And they're doing, of course, Civil War, which, you know, this movie really just made me want to go watch a Marvel movie, kind of, and just see like this universe play out in a better way, or not this universe, but like a similar universe, you know. I can't wait for Civil War.
Well, and especially considering with Civil War being the one that's coming up too, you know, that it's
right around the corner.
Same idea where there's at least the two guys, you know, I mean, they're going at it, but at least in that, there's a conversation about a serious issue inside of the comic book world.
And you can even tell from the trailers that's going to be a focus, right?
Whereas with this, there's not. And their fucking resolution is that their mother's names are Martha, which is just batshit crazy.
No more dead Martha. No more dead Marthas.
That is essentially what it comes down to. He fucking... I'll make sure she doesn't die tonight.
And then that's what leads to a badass scene where he saves her. But there's no fucking reason that... I don't know.
All style, no substance. And even then, not all that much style. And a lot of... I gotta say, some of the stuff is goofy. It's very... One thing that he hasn't learned his goddamn lesson from doing Watchmen is apparently that sometimes page doesn't translate to fucking...
Yes. Oh my god, I did feel some of that here too. Some of those Watchmen scenes, that are just
at least he didn't go panel by panel.
Yeah, exactly, right. Especially, I don't know, the opening with the Waynes being killed, even though it was somewhat cool the way you stylized it to the credits. It was just so slow and like...
Well, and like the gun inside the pearls, that's actually in The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was a cool shot, but I don't know. He is all style. Very little substance. He needs to work with better writers, man, or something. I don't know what the problem
obviously, is. I highly doubt that was his decision to bring on whoever. It really does sound like somehow Ben Affleck was involved, considering the other writer was Buddy Dargo.
Yeah. It did kind of seem like Ben Affleck stepped in to save this movie for some reason.
But like one of the biggest parts that I had an issue with him not seeming to realize the page to film thing was the part when Ben Affleck, or Batman, is hiding after he saved all those little Asian hookers, and or kidnapped people, whatever they are. I should probably be careful in calling them hookers. But and he's like hiding in the little corner or whatever.
Yeah.
So when you first see him, you do see his like cape draped, and I was like, okay, that part was cool. Then when he goes back, and he's literally the distance from me to my computer, going like this in the fucking corner, is one of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen in a Batman film. That wasn't the Adam West Batman or Bat Nipples.
Yeah, you know, it's hard. Some days it's hard to get rid of a bomb.
Like just that idea of having him be that close and being like it just showing it on film, as opposed to the way it looks like in a comic book page.
Yeah,
it is completely irrational to me. It's almost as bad as having the just for toys, Schumacher-equipped skates in your boots, just in case there's ice.
Yep. Well, this movie did their own version of that with that flash-forward desert Batman.
He has, 3 different suits in this movie?
Yeah, at least 3. Yeah, I think.
Is the pajamas over the shoulder pads?
Yeah, the normal one and the power armor one.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's 3 fucking action figures right there. I had a Superman one in there, a Wonder Woman one. Best believe there's that. Doomsday in there. Wow, it's more merchandising nonsense. And I don't know. I got a lot of problems with this movie, but we could talk about what we do like. We tried to do that, but we always get off topic.
That's a good point. Yeah.
What are some things you thought they got right with this movie?
Some things I think they got right were some of the aspects with Batman. I do like that they tried to link it more directly to the Frank Miller style of Batman, because Frank Miller and then Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale are my favorite stylized for Batmans. For if you're talking like a condensed story, whether it be Dark Knight series or Long Halloween, anything like that.
I feel you.
I do, but I mean, because of the fact that Long Halloween was more of the Nolan trilogy, was kind of based around that. I do like that they kind of went with the Dark Knight trilogy, considering it's a little bit different take during the 80s when they ran those series, or the original series of that.
Would have been a mistake to do the same thing Nolan tried to do, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, if you look at it, Tim Burton, because everybody will always try and say, oh, like one of the things that they point out as being good about this movie, which I do have to defend about all Batman movies, is almost all of them except Schumacher do have comic book roots. The Joker with the Batman, the Tim Burton Batman, Batman 89 was it? That's based more so around the Killing Joke.
Yeah,
with the style of the Joker, with how his origin story in it.
I'd love to see that as a really dark film.
If you did it now, there's a lot more you could do. Tim Burton probably had a shit ton of restrictions that he wasn't allowed to do as far as keeping it towards because he's even gone on record saying that's his favorite. He was his favorite comic, right? So, anyways, but I do like that they kept it relatively close to the style of Frank Miller's Batman: Dark Knight Returns. I do think that that's probably the highlight of it. Although the costume department, whoever designed that costume, could have definitely made a better looking thing than what looks like pajamas stuffed over shoulder pads.
Oh, the desert one?
No, his main one.
Or his main one?
Yeah, it doesn't it just looks like he's wearing shoulder pads under gray pajamas and
they both look like they're wearing just Under Armour or something.
Yeah, you have weird suits compared to. I mean, I don't want to. I hate to keep doing it, but that's the best way to do it. The way that Marvel's or Disney's character design does their outfits.
Yeah, exactly.
Fox has the same issue that DC does. Fox makes fucking horrible outfits, except for Deadpool.
Deadpool's was perfect, yeah.
They always make those stupid goddamn leather ones for the X-Men that just look awful. And they think fans like them, but they don't. It's weird.
Oh, and the Fantastic Fours, blue ones, the first one. Oh,
yeah,
terrible.
Yeah. Those were pretty bad, yeah.
Terrible. Oh, I feel like we've rambled for a while on this motherfucker.
I think that might be one of the only things I like is the fact that they keep it close to Frank Miller's.
Yeah. No, that's one of the only things I enjoyed a lot was the some of the Batman stuff. And that's, I think Wonder Woman was cast solidly.
That too.
I don't know. It was just...
and Jeremy Irons, of course. I love Jeremy Irons as Alfred. Jeremy Irons is probably the best character.
He's not in much, but yeah.
No, he really isn't at all.
He's, I like his little parts. It makes, if anything, I'm excited for the future of Ben Affleck Batman, and hopefully this isn't bad enough that we never get to see it. So
I think with the proper handling, it can be done well.
Yeah.
He's definitely got the ability to play a good Batman. Henry Cavill, I don't know if they're going to bring Superman back, but I really hope somehow he's not there, because he just does not have very good acting ability.
The weakest part about this sequel to Superman is unfortunately Superman.
Yeah. And the weakest part of the first Superman was
unfortunately Superman. Zod was good. Both his dads were good in the first one.
Yep.
It was just really Henry Cavill was just a fucking very handsome potato.
That's what we call a pattern.
Yep. Don't hire this man. Replace him. We won't mind. Yeah, you know, they say they don't want to be Marvel, but it's such a lie. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But you just realize you fucked up and you started 10 years late.
You know what? I feel like that's almost wrong. I feel like they don't want to be Marvel. They want to try and copy what Marvel does, but by doing it like Fox, which means just throwing money into it and hoping it works. One of Fox's
Taking the time.
Exactly. One of Fox's biggest problems with some of the missteps that they've had, whether it be X-Men: The Last Stand, X-Men Origins Wolverine, or even their Fantastic Fours that have just been
both of them, yeah.
awful. If you look at those, it's because they rushed into them without any sort of thinking. Yeah. As far as what they're going to actually do as the plan, and they have no solid basis to how to connect them to anything. Disney fucking carefully planned out how many years has it been since Iron Man came out?
I think Iron Man was 2007-ish, 2008, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around 10 years of films that have been coming out consistently,
with an additional 10 to 15 planned.
Yeah,
at least till 2021, I think they have things planned. And there's an overarching story between all of them.
All of them.
All of them are connected. Just like comic books. That's the point, man. That's the point.
DC approached this from an intellectual standpoint. Warner Brothers, Fox, Sony, all of them tried to just approach it from a financial one, hoping that it would rake in dough, because that's what it did when they first started doing them. Disney's the only one that took the time and said there might actually be something to this.
Yes, and I think
they seem to be the only ones that take it seriously, and people could say, oh, how is that necessarily true? Because the tone of a lot of Marvel films is rather light and kind of jokey. Because that's what makes Marvel great. Marvel isn't all about just fucking dim and gloom constantly in all of their stories. They have stories that include that, but they don't like to think of the glass as half empty in every single story. Marvel's definitely more of the glass half full type, where DC's definitely more of the serious, kind of darker glass half empty.
Yeah, definitely.
That's one of the best ways I personally can say it, as far as my standpoint, being a fan of both companies and having a large collection of comics from both companies. Honestly, with that in mind, it's just, you're right, they definitely want what Marvel has, but don't know how to get it.
And didn't take any time to earn it. They just went for it. And it's unfortunate to see them try that, man. It's just a real bummer. Because, the MCU is 13 movies deep now, and there's just no contest. Way better casting across the board. It's just, I hate to keep comparing it to the MCU, but if that's what you want to do, then you need to do it a little better,
Yeah, you can't keep going all in with nothing in your hand.
Exactly. I don't know. Unfortunately, we should probably wrap this up. We've been rambling on this movie for a while. I don't know. Don't get me wrong, it's not an unwatchable piece of garbage, but it's disappointing for us as fans. You gotta understand that. For people that want the best for these characters, it's a disappointment to see it not get fulfilled the way we've seen it possible in other circumstances, right?
I had higher hopes than I did after Man of Steel. I didn't like Man of Steel at all, but I didn't have high hopes going in because I'm not the biggest fan of Superman. I did, however, have high hopes that Batman could be the saving grace to Superman, that Punisher is currently being the Daredevil on Netflix, that the Winter Soldier and Falcon have been to Captain America and other supporting cast going into those after the first Avenger. But that's not the case. They don't capitalize on any of the opportunities that they have, and instead they create something that just becomes another weakness. And in my opinion, this is a failure, whether it makes a shit ton of money or not, because it's never going to work. What they try and set up is never going to work if this is the launching pad.
I don't see it happening, and it's going to be a real bummer to see them trip and fall if it goes the way I see it perhaps going. And the only thing we can really do is go see Civil War twice so it makes more money. and that's, I don't know, the only way to vote for these people to continue to make better decisions with these properties that are so beloved to so many people. I don't know. It's unfortunate. What would you give this film now that we've torn it a new butthole? Because
it does have, a great tide, at least character-wise. I mean, I'm really grasping the straws and being generous here, but because of that, and I mean, there are definitely entertaining points. Like I said, it's I just get upset at it because of a fan. But I mean, from just a moviegoer, as far as a superhero movie is concerned, if you want to just turn your head off and just go watch a popcorn flick, it's not that bad. It's not horrible.
Yeah.
But it's nothing to be expecting something where you're going to go, oh, that really raised questions about superheroes, or that was really good. It's not going to be one of those. It's not going to even be
like you went into.
It's not even going to be as good as Thor 2, and Thor 2 was pretty bad. It wasn't very enjoyable.
It's worse than Iron Man 3, man. Like,
yeah, it is. It's worse than Iron Man 3. There you go. And because of that,
this is unfortunately the start, and it's not as good as the weakest of the MCU. Which is, that's saying something. Yeah. It's not like you come out of even MCU's weirder shit like Guardians or Ant-Man and you're literally surprised, like, wow, I didn't think they could make that good, but it was good. That's just not the case here, unfortunately.
You definitely walk out of this feeling, I really thought that was going to be better, or I really think they could have done better.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the feeling I think you get from this, but it's not something I'm just like, oh, I wasted my fucking money.
No.
It's not that.
You shouldn't get it mistaken. I know there's a lot of hate going around the internet, and a lot of hate coming from us, but it's certainly not unwatchable garbage. It's just, like I said, we want better from our superhero movies.
Yeah. And with what's been shown, we expect better because it's been demonstrated already.
Because it is possible to do better because others are doing better right now as we speak.
Fox has started to learn their lesson. Fox is coming around in a big way. The X-Men movies are gaining steam.
And
Apocalypse looks like it's got a bit of that cheese that Zack Snyder uses with the atmospheric look, but that's one of the biggest complaints too, is that it's got X-Men level CGI with the effects, like the
especially with what's his face, the big bad at the end.
Oh, Doomsday.
Yeah. He looked like a cave troll from Lord of the Rings.
And it's just too messy.
Lord of the Rings when it came out in 2006.
And that the whole scene with Doomsday is way too messy, where he's doing these big fucking jungle gym beams.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm calling them. It's a jungle gym beam.
It was so messy all the time. All the fights were, except for the solo Batman fights, were
all that aside.
Yeah,
keeping everything full circle. I mean, everything back to square one. I think I would have to say, from a pure film standpoint, as far as would I watch it again? I'm going to give it a 6.5.
That's about what I was going to give it to. I'm going to give it a 6, and it's just it's just a bummer it wasn't better. That's the best way I can put it.
It really could have been.
Best way of being polite about it. They blew, not to be overly crude, but they blew their load in the first move, and now they got nothing to go on, right?
Yeah.
The Avengers was awesome because it
was a slow build-up.
Took 7 years to get there, and like 6 different movies, and all these end credit scenes, and all this cool shit, and story building, and universe building. And this one just assumes the universe. It just assumes that it's already out there, and it just that you know about it.
That is the perfect way to put it. I couldn't have put that better myself.
Mm-hmm. And yes, some comic book fans do know about it, but no. If you're building a universe, I want your universe. Tell me your universe. The MCU is not the same as the comics, right? But it's still, enjoyable. Because it has an overarching... I don't know. They just need someone at the helm, I guess. And I don't know who the fuck is doing it. It shouldn't be Zach. It should not be Zach. I'm sorry, buddy. You have talents in places, Michael Bay style, but you just, all ejaculation, no foreplay, buddy. And that's no way to get a lady. That is no way to get a lady. So a 6.5 from Big Nasty Productions, 6 from myself. I hope we haven't been too mean or long-winded for you folks, and you've enjoyed what we do here.
I don't even care if I've been too mean. I just hope I've at least justified why I'm angry.
Yes, that's
or at least given a valid argument that someone could try and come out with another valid argument from their standpoint.
Of course. As always, we encourage comments and speculation and whatnot, because hey, what's better to comment on and argue over than a nerdy superhero movie, which is one of the oldest debates in the book. But yeah, thank you for joining us. If you enjoy what we do, give us a like or a subscribe, And I'm sure we'll be back soon with, reviews of Sicario and, of course, in the upcoming months, better superhero films. Fingers crossed. I hope Suicide Squad is more on point than this. That's all I have to say. Any other thoughts on this film?
No, I think I've covered everything I got to say about Batman v Superman.
All right. We will see you next time on the Movieverse podcast. Fuck you, Zack Snyder.